So, because Spain is a member of the EU, does that at all put a wrinkle in the president's plan for a trade embargo with them?
With respect to Spain, I think they heard the president's message yesterday loud and clear. And it's my understanding over the past several hours they've agreed to cooperate with the U.S. military. And so I know that the U.S. military is coordinating with their counterparts in Spain. But the president expects all of our European allies, of course, to cooperate in this long sought after mission, not just for the United States, but also for Europe, to crush the rogue Iranian regime that, again, not only threatens America, but also threatens our European allies as well. So, because Spain is a member of the EU, does that at all put a wrinkle in the president's plan for a trade embargo with them? With respect to Spain, I think they heard the president's message yesterday loud and clear. And it's my understanding over the past several hours they've agreed to cooperate with the U.S. military. And so I know that the U.S. military is coordinating with their counterparts in Spain. But the president expects all of our European allies, of course, to cooperate in this long sought after mission, not just for the United States, but also for Europe, to crush the rogue Iranian regime that, again, not only threatens America, but also threatens our European allies as well. So, because Spain is a member of the EU, does that at all put a wrinkle in the president's plan for a trade embargo with them? With respect to Spain, I think they heard the president's message yesterday loud and clear. And it's my understanding over the past several hours they've agreed to cooperate with the U.S. military. And so I know that the U.S. military is coordinating with their counterparts in Spain. But the president expects all of our European allies, of course, to cooperate in this long sought after mission, not just for the United States, but also for Europe, to crush the rogue Iranian regime that, again, not only threatens America, but also threatens our European allies as well. So, because Spain is a member of the EU, does that at all put a wrinkle in the president's plan for a trade embargo with them? With respect to Spain, I think they heard the president's message yesterday loud and clear. And it's my understanding over the past several hours they've agreed to cooperate with the U.S. military. And so I know that the U.S. military is coordinating with their counterparts in Spain. But the president expects all of our European allies, of course, to cooperate in this long sought after mission, not just for the United States, but also for Europe, to crush the rogue Iranian regime that, again, not only threatens America, but also threatens our European allies as well. So, because Spain is a member of the EU, does that at all put a wrinkle in the president's plan for a trade embargo with them? With respect to Spain, I think they heard the president's message yesterday loud and clear. And it's my understanding over the past several hours they've agreed to cooperate with the U.S. military. And so I know that the U.S. military is coordinating with their counterparts in Spain. But the president expects all of our European allies, of course, to cooperate in this long sought after mission, not just for the United States, but also for Europe, to crush the rogue Iranian regime that, again, not only threatens America, but also threatens our European allies as well.
As Iran has signaled they are prepared to agree to terms of a ceasefire after Marco Rubio announced today that the group chats of top Iranian officials had been infiltrated. Here is President Trump commenting earlier today from the White House.
It's bad news, these group chats. I mean, no man on earth wants his group chats with the boys released for everyone to see. It's locker room talk. You've heard me say that before? It's very embarrassing. And we had the CIA and Mossad infiltrate them months ago. And let me tell you what's in those group chats. It's bad. Of all the bad things the Iranians have done, the killings, the bombings, this is the worst, by far.
I'm joined now by CNN senior correspondent Kevin Brown, live on the ground in Tel Aviv for more. Kevin, what more can you tell us about this story?
Thanks, Jake. The mood here has been tense, to say the least. However, it's appearing like some kind of resolution is on the horizon. The endless bombing campaigns from the Iranian regime have been put on pause since this news dropped. It's a story that is on par with the Israeli pager drama from 2 years ago, but this time a coordinated effort between the U.S. and Israel. I'm being told that these group chats had been infiltrated for months, and there was serious internal debate in the White House and Knesset about whether or not to release them, as this would seriously violate international bro code and could potentially lead to retaliation against Israeli and American men. Dubbed Operation Epic Funny, these group chats, I'm told, include texts criticizing the weights of senior Iranian officials' wives, racist and sexist memes that were not only not denounced, but were thoroughly enjoyed, as well as numerous instances of smash or pass, where women's photos would be posted in the group chat, and Iranian officials would then comment on whether they would have sex with the women or not. Most importantly, none of these women were their wives, which is, of course, incredible leverage for the US and Israel in forcing an end to what has now been almost 5 days of nonstop bombing.
Truly frightening stuff, and I think I speak for most people when I say that having your group chats released to the world is a nightmare scenario.
There's no question about that, Jake. The Iranians were completely fine with their country being carpet bombed, losing soldiers, civilians, and were in this war for the long haul. But the moment the White House threatened to release the group chats, their calculus immediately changed.
Are there any fears from the White House that this peace deal may fall through?
Yes, specifically, they're all worried that all these senior officials choose to kill themselves rather than suffer the potential fallout of having the group chats released. I've been told by senior officials, however, that they have group chats of even junior Iranian officials, and that nothing short of full surrender from the Iranians is the only way to protect themselves.
That was CNN's Kevin Brown live from Tel Aviv. After the break, Lindsey Graham will be joining us.
Greetings, 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 greetings. I salute all of you from wherever you're joining us from. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Today is 4th of March 2026 in the day of our Lord Chukwokika Biama. And I bring you warm greetings, joy, celebration, and happiness. For those that are in a happy mood, and for those that are in problematic mode, please take heart. Our warm and heartfelt appreciation goes to those that are fighting for the freedom of humanity, not those that are fighting to implement conquest agenda, but those that are fighting for humanity. The army of God, the army of the US and the Israelis, and every other country that are joining forces with them to fight for the salvation of humanity. We salute them and we appreciate them. Biafran people, I bring you greetings. We salute our leaders that lived and fought before us, and those that are in prison, and our leader that is actively here with us, PM Okechukwu Nkere, the BDF, the Biafran people in the homeland, and in the environs. Please, wherever you are as a Biafran, remember that the world is at war, and you need to be security conscious wherever you are. Yes, you've got to be security conscious wherever you are. You got to be very vigilant wherever you are. And you got to be very watchful. Abide by the rules of the country so that you don't fall a victim of the flying bullet. Yes, because there are a lot of flying bullets out there and missiles. I saw a video where somebody said, in my country, We run away from AK-47. But in Nigeria, it is Boko Haram. But here where I am, that the bomb is flying, it is not AK-47, it is missiles. I think you guys actually need to be very happy that where missiles are flying, you are not being massacred. You are being protected. Missiles are flying on top of your roof. That there is a defense system that is intercepting those missiles. What would have been your fate if these missiles were being dropped in Nigeria? Where is the air defense system of Nigeria that they can use to intercept these bombs and missiles from Boko Haram terrorists? These are a few questions you need to ask yourself. Are you better off where you are? Nigeria is the worst place for you to exist as human beings, most especially for Christians. You should be happy of where you are because they place value on human lives. Before the war started, they have already anticipated what is going to turn out to be. They have built their defense mechanism for years, having known that they have existential terrorists as enemies. They built their defense system for years. They kept them handy. They knew that when it is needed, they just have to activate it. So, as the war started, what did they do? They activated their arsenals. They can now redirect weapons that are supposed to land on top of your roof and kill all of you to somewhere else. And that is why many of you are not victims of the bombings, but you stay inside and you watch it inside the television. In Israel, before bombs had to be even projected to Israel, the government will give you emergency whistleblowing siren. And with that emergency whistleblowing siren, you are to take cover within the dome. You get in there, you stay there until when you hear the green light again, that you can come out to a safe zone. As far as you don't hear, you stay there. Provisions will be made for you to sustain yourself within the hours and days that you will be within that dome. These are means of survival. These are means of protection. These were built for years ahead of the terrorist attack which they knew lives all around them. I ask you, how can Nigeria repel or intercept terrorist missiles that will be launched to Akwa Ibom? How can Nigeria intercept terrorist missiles that will be launched to Cross River? How can Nigeria intercept terrorist missiles that will be launched to Obudukato Ranch? How can Nigeria intercept terrorist missiles that will be launched to rivers? How can they intercept anything that will be launched to Delta, Bayelsa, Enugu, Imo, Anambra, Abia, Ebonyi, Benue, Makurdi, Zamfara, Plateau, Abuja, Lagos, Ibadan, Oyo, Ekiti, Bauchi, Gombe, Kogi, Borno, Kaduna? How can they intercept? There is none whatsoever. Because you were told pop and plain when they were preparing for the 2023 election, they told you the Muslim ticket is not for us to come and build infrastructure. It's not to come and build schools. So It's not to come and give you employment or to build schools or to better your life. Oh. It is to come and uphold the dignity of Islam and Sharia. And what does that stand for? Who will come and help them to implement the conquest agenda, to eliminate all of you and to turn Nigeria to a conquered zone where they will implement what has been happening in Turkey and Iran and Afghanistan and many other places. Now, I want Biafran people to learn something from the ongoing war in the Middle East. This war is not the war of Donald Trump, it's not the war of the Democrats, it's not the war of the Republicans, it's not the war of the Americans, it's not the war of the Israelites, it's not the war of the Ukrainians or the Italians or the Spanish or the Portuguese or the Brasileiros or the Netherlanders or the Hollanders. It's not for the Belgians. It's not for the Swedish. This is a war for humanity. And it is World War III. For those of you that have not given it that connotation, you should understand that we are in World War III. World War III is the one that has been declared to eliminate humanity. Humanity in the sense that you that say, let us live and let live. Let us value the life of every other humans. Let us have a better life. That is what has been implemented, that they have to do what? Wipe you out. They have to wipe you out. So, for those of you that think that this is a war for America or war for Israel or war for those that have the powers to fight or that have the armament. No, brother, this is not a war for them. This is a war for everybody. For as long as you are alive and you want to live, this is a war for you. Everybody must understand that the exact thing that Biafrans are doing in Nigeria to save the entire humanity is the same thing that the Israelis and the Americans are doing at this time. And every other country that is joining to save humanity. It is the same brand of the terrorists that is being targeted in the Middle East that are leveraging in Nigeria, that are taking over your communities, cutting heads of babies, women, and children, and raping babies, mothers, fathers, and anything that is living. You need to understand something, that this is a war for humanity and not a war for America and not a war for the Israelis. But they are actually the people that are doing the good thing for everybody while bearing the bad name. Just like Biafrans carried the cross of Christians in Nigeria, without Christians speaking up in the name of Biafrans, or without Biafrans speaking up for the Christians, nothing would have happened. The slaughter would have continued as it has been for years, and nobody will care any fool about the Biafran people or the Christians in Nigeria. You would have all been annihilated because it has been happening for over centuries. And no international community or ally cared a fool about it. All they did was care less. But they cared a fool about your resources, your raw materials in Nigeria that are extracted and deposited everywhere. So we have to be grateful to the Biafran people. So what the Biafran people have been doing in Nigeria, becoming the whistleblower, becoming the savior and the salvation to every living thing in Nigeria that believes in live and let live, that is what the army of God raised in the US Army and Israelis and others that join forces have been doing for days now. In this world power, it comes a time where they need to launch something to exterminate humanity. And it also takes those that are destined by God to avenge and to turn the table around. I want all of you to think of what happened in the time of Nebuchadnezzar. What was Nebuchadnezzar meant to do, and what was he meant to be? And how was his end? God needed to raise somebody to bring an end to what Nebuchadnezzar was to do. So that means Nebuchadnezzar was predestined to play his role as a devil's incarnate. And then God also raised another virtue of playing a different role that will turn things around. When you also looked and saw what happened when the flood happened in the time of Noah, many people were flushed out of the surface of the earth, according to the story. And then a new world order started again. How many of you remember how Sodom and Gomorrah were explained and described in the Bible? Where men raped men, women raped women. How many of you remember a story in the Bible or a part in that same Bible where the angels visited a village? I don't remember whether it was in Lot's home or where. And then the men in this community came and met Lot. Please, if I am mistaken, please correct me. But in the Bible, there is a place where whether angels of God or people that were sent by God to visit a community, they visited a man's house. And then some other men came and said, go and bring those men that visited you. We want to have carnal knowledge of them. Go and bring those men that visited you. We want to have carnal knowledge of them. And the man was like, I have two daughters that are virgins who have not even known a man before. I would rather present them to you for you to have a taste of them and have whole of them. Why are you now looking for a fellow man? And these are not just fellow men, but these are visitors. People that are visiting me are supposed to be sacred. They are supposed to be well taken care of. But these animals said they don't want to have sex with even ladies that the man said are virgins, that they should take them. Ordinarily, that man will not bring out his own daughter and say, take my two daughters that are virgins, instead of you coming to take these my visitors who are men. But in order to show that he doesn't want them to violate those people and destroy them, visitors, so that at least he can have a good reputation that they visited his community and they were not treated to death. He said, go take my two virgin daughters. Why coming to look for men? The question you should ask yourself is, what pleasure did they take in they want to have carnal knowledge of men, instead of a man looking for a woman? A man now takes pleasure in having carnal knowledge of a fellow man. And then God had to bring destruction to this community and these people. Are you getting the message? Today you see this same set of people again in this very rain. Doing what? Having sex with cow? Raping our mothers, women and children, our sisters. They even rape our fathers. Is it not a repetition of what has happened before? Don't you think it is time for God to wipe and recycle this very rain? God needs to make use of somebody to turn things around. If God is using America and Israel today to do it, praise God. And you all have to join your hands and give a push for it to come to reality. And I don't want all of you to forget so soon that the COVID-19 that just finished, we saw Epstein files revealing that Bill Gates was discussing with Epstein how they need to launch the virus and push it to the World Health Organization, and then see how they will test run it and see how they will use people to do samples and see how it will go. This also went in line of eliminating the human race. And their main target was not the white flesh. The main target was the Negroes, was the Africans, because they saw that you contribute nothing to them. But your minerals and all resources are what is more important to them. But your human resources, your brain-based resources, they did not calculate it to be anything useful when they wanted to launch COVID-19 to eliminate many of you. It turns out that those that died bountifully was them that created the COVID-19. While you that your hands were clean, God save you. We must support those that are fighting to save humanity. Biafran people stands with the army of God. The army of God should not only be the Americans and the Israelis. Count yourself lucky to align with the army of God and become part and parcel of them to save humanity. Don't count yourself out. Count yourself in, that you want to be in and you're part of it. Do everything possible to become part and parcel of it, so that the glory of the letter will also sing of your name. Because there is a great recycling in the sphere of things now. God is sending a message and some people don't understand it. Yes, God is sending a message, and some people don't understand the message. But it's coming out clear, gradually, gradually. Did you hear what was said in the video I played? That the Iranian leaders, they said they were sharing photos of ladies, women, how they will rape them, how many of them they will rape, and how they will take turns. Because it is not a crime to them in their own pamphlet and in their religion. So they will take turns in raping them. Is it not what you see them do inside their church? Is it not what you see them do in Nigeria? Is it not how you see them rape goat, rape cow, rape horse, have sex with everything in Nigeria? Is it not how they rape your mothers, women, and children? It is not a new thing. Let me play that video again, so that some of you that do not hear it will get the point.
A new development in the Iran war, as Iran has signaled they are prepared to agree to terms of a ceasefire after Marco Rubio announced today that the group chats of top Iranian officials had been infiltrated. Here is President Trump commenting earlier today from the White House.
It's bad news, these group chats. I mean, no man on earth wants his group chats with the boys released for everyone to see. It's locker room talk. You've heard me say that before? It's very embarrassing. And we had the CIA and Mossad infiltrate them months ago. And let me tell you what's in those group chats. It's bad. Of all the bad things the Iranians have done, the killings, the bombings, this is the worst by far.
I'm joined now by
This is the worst by far. And then the journalist went down to explain what are in the group chat. Listen to what are in the group chat.
CNN senior correspondent Kevin Brown, live on the ground in Tel Aviv for more. Kevin, what more can you tell us about this story?
Thanks, Jake. The mood here has been tense, to say the least. However, it's appearing like some kind of resolution is on the horizon. The endless bombing campaigns from the Iranian regime have been put on pause since this news dropped.
How could the endless bombing of the Iranian regime be put on pause when they had that their plans of how they rape babies, women, and children are to be escalated on the media? So they cannot pull the trigger anymore. They cannot kill again. They cannot bomb Kuwait again. They cannot bomb Bahrain again. They cannot bomb Pakistan again. They cannot bomb UAE again. They cannot bomb Israel again. They cannot bomb all the neighboring countries again, because the group chat is about to show that what we normally see in the social media is facts happening from inside their very shrine, which they call the tabernacle. How they take turns in raping babies, women, and children. Hey, I didn't know that something like this could turn down the barrel of gun. It's shocking.
It's a story that is on par with the Israeli pager drama from 2 years ago, but this time a coordinated effort between the US and Israel. I'm being told that these group chats had been infiltrated for months, and there was serious internal debate in the White House and Knesset about whether or not to release them, as this would seriously violate international bro code and could potentially lead to retaliation against Israeli and American men. Dubbed Operation Epic Funny, these group chats, I'm told, include texts criticizing the weights of senior Iranian officials' wives, racist and sexist memes that were not only not denounced, but were thoroughly enjoyed, as well as numerous instances of smash or pass, where women's photos would be posted in the group chat and Iranian officials would then comment on whether they would have sex with the women or not.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? They would take turns. They will choose who they will now use as sex slave. They will select. They say, bring this one. They do it.
Most importantly, none of these women were their wives, which
None of these women were their wives, so they use them and do what they want to do.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
come
Back
on.
at night shifting.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So nobody knew what was going on. And you couldn't also understand. Oh, and the ladies in question were not their wives. How could it be their wives? It wouldn't be their wives because they would not sex slave their wives. They would rather use other people's children to do it. Yes. Have you ever seen Boko Haram terrorists sex slave their own wives? No. They will tell you that they have to sex slave Jews and Christians that they capture as slaves. But their own, they preserve their own to be what? Sacred. That's what normally happens.
is, of course, incredible leverage for the US and Israel in forcing an end to what has now been almost 5 days of nonstop bombing.
Truly frightening
So,
stuff, and I think I speak for most people when I say that having your group chats released to the world is a nightmare scenario.
There's no question about that, Jake. The Iranians were completely fine with their country being carpet bombed, losing soldiers, civilians, and were in this war for the long haul. But the moment the White House threatened to release the group chats, their calculus immediately changed.
wow.
Are there any fears from the White House that this peace deal may fall through?
Yes, specifically, they are all worried that all these senior officials choose to kill themselves rather than suffer the potential fallout of having the group chats released. I've been told by senior officials, however, that they have group chats of even junior Iranian officials and that nothing short of full surrender from the Iranians is the only way to protect themselves.
That was CNN's Kevin.
Wow. So, with this, they can now pause the trigger. Oh. Hello, Mero. Let us wait and see how it goes. But you need to understand here that the people that are used for these sex slaves is not their own wives, not their own children, but other people's children. And don't be surprised that at the end of the day, the people that they will use for this evil act will be those that are not of the same faith with them. Yes. You end up seeing that it is those that are not of the same faith with them. Let's watch and see. But there is something I want Biafrans to learn from this war and crisis that is happening. That is the bone of contention of my message tonight, or morning, or afternoon, or evening, depending on your time zone. In war times, when a leader is taken down, the troop don't wait to lament of the taking down of the leader. What they do is that they reinforce. Freedom fighting is like the battlefield, but you need to use psychological pattern to connote with others, because a lot of people are psychologically affected and they are not also inclined with military regime. That is why you need to bring in psychological part of it, because it is freedom fighting. Everybody are not military inclined. That's why at times when we go, we pause we look at how people react. But in the war front, nobody cares how you react. What people cares about is the last command, where the barrel should face. The Iranians and the Americans and the Israelis and every other war person that have been in this war for the past days have been fighting head on. Some American personnel have fallen as heroes in the battlefield. Some of the Iranian terrorists and their leaders have fallen in the battlefield, and even those that are taken down inside their castle. But there is one thing I want everybody to learn. In all this, how many leaders of the Iranian regime were taken down? At what point did you see them stop fighting? At what point did you see them stop re-strategizing? At what point did you see them stop shooting the bullet and stop sending out the missiles? At what point have you seen the Iranian regime stop the war since the war started on the 28th of February? The very first day the war started was the day that their supreme leader was taken down and some of the other top leaders. Did you see them stop the war? It was after their leader was taken down that the war later intensified. That was when Bahrain was bombed. That was when Kuwait was bombed. That was when Pakistan collected their own. That was when UAE collected and Qatar. That was when they launched more missiles on Israel. That was when they launched many missiles and bombs and all the military bases that surrounds their neighborhood. They launched it on the Israeli, the Americans, the Europeans, the France, the UK. They launched it left, right, center. This happened after their leader was taken down. At no point did they stop and say they want to wait for the leader to exhume from the grave or to wake up from the grave or from the dead to come and direct them or to give them instruction or to inform them of what to do. At what point did they say they want to take order from the dead man that is dying or that is in prison or that has been trapped? At what point did you see them surrender? They did not surrender. They did what? They went into the war council. The remaining of them re-strategized. They put their heads together and decide on what to do to counter the war. And since then, you wouldn't even believe that their supreme leader was taken out with the kind of reprisal that they have given for the past few days. This is the mind of people that are formidable and have well planned to face a threat. I feel for some of you Biafrans, because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in prison, and some of you who were not even serious and understood what Biafra freedom is all about went to use the umbrella of IPOB to cover yourselves and say you are IPOB. You are the only way that Biafra goes. You're waiting for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come out. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been in prison since 2021. Now he has been sent to another advanced prison. What have you achieved since the day he was taken in 2021, coming down to 2026. You have achieved nothing. You go nowhere. The only thing you achieved in doing was to make sure you join hands with your DOS to do massive protests and write letter to European Commission for them to imprison every Biafran that identifies with Biafra Republic government in Ezra, starting from Prime Minister Simon Ekpa down to the last person that will identify with Biafra Republic government in Ezra. That was what you achieved. Some of you today now have divulged into what BRGI have been doing is not okay. What Prime Minister Okenkere is doing with Elias, the lobbies, and Attorney Dabiri is not okay. You divulge into your own. You create different groups. You want to be the leader. How many of the leaders of the Iranian regime did you hear them come out and say the supreme leader made them the surrogate? How many of them did you hear them come to say they are the surrogate? That the supreme leader made them surrogate? How many surrogates did you hear? People that are at war don't care about surrogate. They don't care about the power. Rather, they are caring about the strategy of how they will gear up to be able to fight the next phase of the battle. Because the battle line is drawn and they are in battle. That is why you see Ngozi Orabufulani, she scattered her legs in America. She will sleep and wake up and drink and wine and shout, America! This is how, when you wake up, you snore, America. You are not snoring Biafra because you're not in Biafra land. A Mama Mugu will sleep and wake up in Switzerland and will snore, oh, Switzerland. Because you're waking up in Switzerland, where there is comfort. The rest of you now will sleep and wake up in Europe. Oh, Italia. Oh, España. Oh, America. Oh, Cabo Verde. Oh, South Africa. You snore and wake up comfortably. And what are you planning? What are you doing? You're thinking of how to create chaos, how to create more confusion, how to bring more problems. You're not thinking of what you have to do to gear up the momentum, to move the ship from the previous point it was to the next selling point. Mbano, your own is to think of how you will cause more confusion, how you will come to tell people you are the main leader, you're the one that is appointed by those that are in prison. So in this, my very life, I will carry my two legs and enter Biafra. Say I'm fighting for Biafra. Then, when one of the leaders is in prison, I will now decide I'll stay and wait for the leader in prison to be the one to give me order of what to do and how to think and how to reason and how to move on. Hey, and what to do. So your brain that is outside prison is not useful. It is somebody that is in prison that has not seen the light of day the way you see, that will now have the mental faculty to now be able to reason and decide what to do for you. So he will stay inside prison and then advise you of what to do, whether you have to fight Nigeria or whether you have to lay your arms down or whether you have to stop what you're doing in looking for your recognition or whether you have to continue to engage the U.S. lawmakers diplomatically. Hey! I ask a question. How have you been viable and proactive and useful to the Biafran cause since after your so-called leaders are in prison? Yes, since you see your leaders in prison today, and then you're coming to always shout, our leaders are in prison. What are you doing to move the stage forward after these leaders are in prison? Do you only come to make mockery that they are in prison and you make noise with their names? What are you doing to make a difference as they are in prison? At least to continue the work that they started.
Wake up, Biafrans. We know if we keep quiet again. Now Biafra, they call all Biafrans. Make una wake up. Make every Biafran wake up today. Jihadists, terrorists, they come. We don't see a more child. Wahala plenty, oh, my people. Make una wake up. Now, no be tomorrow. How long we go they sleep while our people they cry? They won't kill us and carry our land. That's also blood everywhere. No more silence, no more sleeping. Everybody wake up. Make I talk am well, make everybody hear. This call now for everybody will be Biafran. Igbos from Rigolat, off it from Calabar, it just from Riverside, Urobos from Delta, East Ekiri stand up, Igodo Migodos rise up. Different language, different name, them divide us with artificial border. But suffer no get right. Whether you dey abroad or you dey house, whether you get money or you no get, this matter concern I dey body, no be see don't look matter again. How long we go dey wait? How long we go dey fear? If today we no talk, tomorrow do bet. If you
Thank you. As we prepare to wrap up this program, because it's not supposed to be a long one, because I came out late already. So, what have you done to make sure you make a difference in line with what others are doing that are fighting war? In war times, leaders often emerge as the war continues. They don't wait for anybody. As one person is taken down, they don't wait for that person. A new leader is elected and they move on with speed until they see that old leader out. That is when they now reintegrate that leader back into the leadership structure if he so wants to continue. As far as that leader is taken down or taken into prison, another leader emerges immediately and they move on. Did you people see the Iranian regime stop in the fight and the bombing against America and Israel? Or against the neighboring nations or countries? No, they did not stop. Even when their leader were taken down. That was when they brought the fury out of them. That was when they brought the missiles that you never thought they can bring out. They went into their armament. They launched and reinforced and brought something more brutal that they did not bring out before. This is what Biafrans are supposed to do. And then I see Rodriguez. Rodriguez, You write something here. Let me address what you wrote because it's very important for people to start learning. Because I don't belong to the school of thought that people have to do something for you. You have to do something for yourself, and then some other person will come to help you. You said Bianca Ojukwu is really working for Nigeria, seriously. Let me address that very one. Bianca Ojukwu is working for Nigeria, seriously. If Bianca Ojukwu is working for Nigeria, seriously, and then you guys are really fighting for freedom, what have you done to Bianca Ojukwu? Since you see that he is working for Nigeria and he is sabotaging your cause, what have you done? How many of you remember that there is a woman leader in Nigeria, then was in the Old Eastern region, who was an ardent Nigerian politician? And when Ojukwu and Effiong declared Biafra in 67, she continued preaching one Nigeria. What happened? She was arrested and locked up because she wanted to become a problem. She was arrested and locked up for her to stop a nonsense of one Nigeria in our ears because we were fighting for our survival. She was our own. But for you to keep the distraction away, you have to lock her up. You see, some of you in this um, Biafra movement makes it seem kind of unserious. Yes, because I can't imagine how you say you are fighting for freedom and then you're not ready to take hard decisions. Then go and sleep if you're not ready to take hard decisions. If you cannot take down somebody that has become a problem so that there could be headway, then stop coming to preach nonsense. Just go and sleep. Let people know that you're not ready for freedom. How can Bianca Ojukwu be a problem and all of you know where she is? And you cannot take care of her and lock her up somewhere so that she will not be a problem anymore. This is how you guys allow Soludo and all these terrorist governors, ministers, and senators to paramulate the entire place, bringing more terrorists to come and kill you. And then at the end of the day, you come out to start crying. If you want to stop the nuclear weapon that is being built by Iran and any other nation, you have to go after the sponsors, the leaders, and the builders of those nuclear weapons. That is what America and Israel did to the Iranian regime. Did you see them go to look at the subordinate members of the military wing of Iran? No. They went for the head. Go for the head, the sponsor. When you deal with the head, when you deal with the sponsor, you will see that they will take dressing. They will take dressing immediate effect. So I hate to be seeing you guys writing this rubbish here. So are you lamenting about Bianca? When you have men that cannot handle Bianca, you have women that cannot handle Bianca. So why are you lamenting in the comment section? Why is it that when Fulani terrorists wants to do something, they do it, and when they finish do it, you will be the one to come and cry about this cause? When you come and cry about this cause, for the next 1 week, they will keep quiet. After you finish crying, that is when they will now come up the upper week to come and say, we are declaring that we are the one that took that action because we see that you wanted to take their glory. They come out then boldly after 1 week and say, we are the one that took that action. We want to make it clear so that nobody will take their glory. They don't make noise before taking this action. They go and take the action. After they are done taking the action, before they will now later come back to sit back and wait for you to hear what you say. So if Bianca Ojukwu is really working for Nigeria and is becoming a problem, and you say she was able to lure Finland, if Bianca Ojukwu was able to lure Finland, who lured Kenya? Was it Bianca Ojukwu that also lured Kenya? Bianca Ojukwu was not there to lure Kenya to kidnap Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. It was our fellow brothers and sisters that played the role into agreement with Finland to arrest Simon Ekpa. Now she has gone to Israel, there is problem. No, you can't be lamenting that there is problem when you people are not ready to take down the people that you say is a problem. How can you say Bianca is a problem and you're not ready to take down Bianca? That means you're not ready for freedom. You guys just want to do content, because that is what I see some people are doing. That's what I see Nigerians have turned out to. They now do content creator. Terrorist is invading your community. You're not thinking of how to raise men and bring them together, how they are going to defend themselves, how they can be able to procure weapons that they can use to defend themselves. Instead, what you do is every day you come to the social media, you do content. Oh, they have killed, oh, come and see, oh. You put your hand for it. They have killed, oh, 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 they have killed, oh. You do content. And the terrorists will be like, oh, this one is very good in making content. Then that means we have to invade another community. When they invade, they give you the opportunity to come and do the video to do content with it. And the last person that will do content will be your head. Because when you are doing the last content, they'll cut off your head and nobody will be there to do content with your head again. So if Bianca is a problem, why not take care of Bianca so that you remove a problem? The Igbo politicians aligned with DOS and some other people in Kenya to kidnap Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Was Bianca Ojukwu there that time? Have you people taken care of those Igbo politicians? I never take care of them. Rather, some of you are having meeting with them, drinking and whining with them. Yes. Some of you that claim to be fighting for Biafra, you're drinking and whining with the same Igbo politicians. You're having meetings with them. And then you will say that you are fighting the same terrorist politicians. Who are you fighting? Who are you deceiving? You can't be having meetings, dining and whining with the same people that you say you are fighting against. Can you see the president of America now dining and whining with the Iranian terrorist regime, which he is working so hard to eliminate, who has become a threat to his life and to the life of the American people? So, who says he is fighting for freedom and then he's telling you that he is going to have meeting and have drink, to sit down and drink and wine and have discussion with the same person that you're fighting against? It means you are a fool. And you are deceiving yourself. You're not deceiving Biafrans. So when you guys are ready to take down those that are causing your pain, those that led Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to prison, those that led to his kidnap, I will see. But for now, I see that some of you are not ready. Maybe by the time the missile of Iran will drop on one of the roofs in Biafra land, to drop everywhere, every roof, maybe that is when some of you will wake up. Soludo is bringing Nigerian terrorists to invade your communities. Uzodinma is doing same. Udevuma did and finish. Willie did his own and finish. Ikpazu did it and finish. Ugwuanyi did it and finish. Wike did it and finish. And now they promoted Wike to Abuja because he did a very good job. And none of you could be able to destroy anything from them. because you give them a leeway. You give them a very peaceful move to waka pass. No, tomorrow, come and tell me that you are having meeting with Uzodimana. Tell me that you are having meeting with Soludo. Tell me that you are having meeting with Soludo men and then you are drinking wine. You're drinking maya. Nonsense. I want to hear it now. If you're fighting Soludo, if you're fighting Ogbonnaya, if you're fighting me, if you're fighting Oblezus Odemba, why will you be having meeting with me and having drink with me? No, you're not fighting me then. You're not fighting Nigeria then. Yes. Because the terrorist regime that the war is on their table now are planning off. When you watch, let me play one video. Let me just play one video. I want to play one video to set example. Yes. Let me play one video to set example. Because it's like when I talk, it's as if I just talk too much. Let me play one video. Okay, listen to this video.
بار دیگر شهادت گرانبار و تحمل ناپذیر رهبر معظم انقلاب را به پیشگاه امت اسلامی و خاندان مکرم و معظم این بزرگ و بزرگوار تعزیت عرض می‌کنیم. ما الان در آستانه امتحان بزرگ هستیم و باید مواظب باشیم این وحدت را کاملا حفظ بکنیم، این اتحاد را کاملا حفظ بکنیم. اگر مختصر رنجی هست، گنج بیشماری در پیش هست. ما باید بدانیم بیگانه قصد این آب و خاک کرد، قصد تجزیه کرد، قصد تقطیع کرد. خاک ما، آب ما که آبروی ماست، خاک ما که جان ماست. وقتی از امام صادق میپرسند کسی قصد
Let me pause it there so that I can address the issue. Now, from what you see in this video, what this man is talking about in this video is that he's issuing a threat and declaring that shedding the blood of Donald Trump and the Zionists is obligatory. That it is an obligation that they must shed the blood of Americans. It is an obligation that they must shed the blood of the Zionists. The Zionists they are referring to are what? Are the Jews, the Israelis. The Trump that they are referring to are what? The Christians. So, figuratively, they are telling you that it is obligatory, it is a must for them to eliminate Christians and the Jews. So I ask a question. Then I ask a question now. Will I be fighting like this man that is fighting America and fighting the Jews? Then I will now be sitting down on the same table to eat and drink with you. I'll put down my weapon. I'll come and sit down and say, I'm dining with you. This is the mistake some of you are doing. Today you want to communicate with the governors of the East. Tomorrow you want to communicate with the senators. Next tomorrow you want to communicate with the ministers. Another day you want to communicate with the paramount rulers and the village chiefs. You want to communicate with all the political criminals. And then these political criminals will recondition your brain and then be giving you condition and telling you what to do and what not to do. How you should now configure or give command and order us that are actually fighting without looking anybody face of what we should do and what we should not do, so that it will key in to the template which they want. You know, many of you, You came into Biafra movement to do peaceful movement. Peaceful movement. Have never seen where people say they are fighting for freedom and then they will be peaceful. I've never seen any kind of freedom that is a peaceful freedom movement. When Jesus Christ was fighting for his earthly mission, Jesus Christ did not say he is here to fight and to make peace. No. The word fight is an action word. Fight is a word of action. You have to do action. Action is happening. So everything he was doing was action. His prayer was actionable. His fasting was actionable. His evangelism was actionable. Even when he entered the tabernacle and saw that they have turned into buying and selling place, you saw the action he took. Everything that he was doing was action, action, action. And some of you claim you are fighting for Biafra freedom and you're not ready to take down the enemies that are actually your problems. When you people outline these names like this and be telling me Bianca Ojukwu is a problem, Soludo is a problem, Uzodinma is a problem, Igbazu is a problem, Wike is a problem, this one is a problem, that one is a problem, I laugh. I don't see the mindset of people that are ready to get what they want. When you are ready, you will stop complaining. You will do what those that are in for freedom are doing. They don't come to announce and make noise or talk too much before they do something. They will do what they have to do and then you see the scores. After you see the scores, you will come to ask questions. After you see the scores, you will come to ask questions. You don't come and ask the questions before the scores. You ask the questions after the scores. So, if you know you are ready and you're fighting for this freedom, go and buckle up or tighten up your belt and do what you know you have to do to save humanity and stop wasting people's time. Yes. Biafran people have suffered a lot and they don't deserve to continue to suffer. The Iranians, and this is what is happening, none of the side is stopping the war to wait for anybody that has fallen by the website. They are not stopping the war because their supreme leader was taken down. They are not stopping the war because their military leaders were taken down. No. Even the subordinates are commanding the military unit and they are fighting on. They are not telling you we have to stop. Everybody are fighting on. The war continues for as long as they have not gotten to the final destination. So for those of you that are making us to understand that we need to go and sit down and fold our arms and put in between our legs because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in prison, because Mazi Monekpa is in prison, you want them to lead and give you order from prison. God will punish many of you. Yes. Because all these your actions are actually making mockery of the consciousness of some Biafrans who were wholeheartedly putting their hands and their legs and sponsoring Biafra with all their money to see that they get the Biafra that they want. For as long as you continue to deceive people and tell them if it is not Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in prison, if it is not Mazi Monekpa in prison, that you have to tell them what to do and they should take order from him, they should follow. They should follow him from inside prison. I say, God will punish many of you. And your punishment will not be erased because of you confusing and distracting people. People that came with their clear mind and clear conscience. People that came with their hard-earned money to come, to pay in, to sacrifice and to support the freedom movement. Because of your lackadaisical attitude, because of your backstabbing and hatred and jealousy and evil mindset, you want to deviate people's mind. You're deceiving people and telling them that a man in chain has to be the one to lead them. A man inside prison has to be the one to decide for them. God will punish all of you. And that punishment will not be erased. The punishment will continue, and many of you will be exposed. Yes, it's a matter of time. If you know how to deceive yourself and deceive your people, continue to deceive them. But my message is very clear tonight. Learn from the war and the crisis that is happening in Iran and in the Middle East. The Iranian people are not stopping the war or the fight because their leaders were taken down. No, they are fighting on. They are mounting up. They are injecting more missiles and bullets into their guns. Since on the 28th, the war has intensified. It is now that they are even launching all their tentacles. But you, in Biafra, it is time that some of you are looking for surrogate. I am the surrogate. Some of you are looking for, I am accountability group 1. I am a CRC Biafra Governing Council. I am the most trusted. I am the one that is visiting PM inside Monegba, inside prison. So I am the one that should be listened to. Simon Egba is telling us that he is here, so we should go here. We are the one is validating, so we should not go to anywhere. We should abandon the real government that is actually doing something for its release in Washington, D.C. So all of you now, like dog, follow blindly and go to where you're not supposed to go. Learn from this war that is happening in Iran. Have they stopped fighting because their leaders were taken down? Have they stopped fighting because their leaders are in prison? Have they said they will not make a decision and move on? They will go and depend on their leaders that are dead or that are inside prison? No. Immediately one leader is taken down, the war continues, and another leader is moving on. And they are going. They don't stop. They don't wait because they are in the war front. Learn. Learn. Because we are going to change a lot of things. Learn, oh. Learn, oh. Okay. Learn, oh, and don't say you were not told. Learn, oh. Okay, oh. I don't talk and finish. I salute everybody. Today is Wednesday. Be security conscious where you are. Visit the website to make your donation to support Biafra government in exile. There is a protest coming up for Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. I think on the 12th of March. I think you all see the flyer. Support the protest. If you're in the homeland, be part and parcel of the protest and make sure it happens. Where you are, if you can also stage the protest, please join. Whether in diaspora or in the homeland, also stage the protest and let it happen. I salute all of you and see you all tomorrow. Ndewo.
Na Biafra they call all Biafrans. Make una wake up. Make every Biafran wake up today. Jihadists, terrorists they come. We don't see a chai. Wahala plenty, oh, my people. Make una wake up. Now, no be tomorrow. How long we go dey sleep while our people they cry? They won't kill us and carry our land. Now so blood everywhere. No more silence, no more sleeping. Everybody wake up. Make I talk am well, make everybody hear. This call now for everybody we be Biafran. Igbos from Rigolat, off it from Calabar, Ijos from Riverside, Urobos from Delta, East Ekiri stand up, Igodo Migodos rise up. Different language, different name, them divide us with artificial border. But suffer no get right. Whether you dey abroad or you dey house, whether you get money or you no get, this matter concern and dey body no be see don't look matter again. How long we go dey wait? How long we go dey fear? If today we no talk, tomorrow do bet. If you fit help, what you dey wait for? Time dey run, make everybody wake up now. Wake up, Biafrans, wake up. No be time to dey sleep. Wake up, Biafrans, wake up. Our future day for our hand. Freedom no be free. Sponsor your freedom today. Donate your money today to Biafra Republic government in exile. Sponsor your freedom. Donate your money today to Biafra Republic government in exile. Under the leadership of Prime Minister His Excellency Ogechukwu. Donate your money today to Biafra government in exile. Under the leadership of Prime Minister His Excellency Ogechukwu. Stand up together. One voice, one people, one direction. Wake up, Biafrans, wake up now or never. Pastors, make una wake up. This one no be sermon, no be preaching. Prayer na good thing, but without action, prayer no go work. Prayer without action no be anything. Faith without action no go fit work. Elders of the land, if house they burn, silence no be solution. Tradition leaders, kings and chiefs, una get voice, una get influence. Freedom no be free. Pastors, bishops, wake up and sponsor your freedom today. Tell your church members, send them your money to Biafra Republic government in exile. Under the leadership of Prime Minister His Excellency Ogechukwu. Pastors, bishops, judicial leaders, wake up and donate your money to Biafra Republic government in exile. Led by Prime Minister His Excellency Ogechukwu. If they take over your land, they go turn your churches to mosque. If they capture Biafra land, everybody go suffer. If they capture Biafra land, nobody go fit talk about church again. Unity na power, na action be the only solution. Your voice get power. Stand up for your mama, stand up for your wife, stand up for your pikin. If we join hands, nobody fit conquer us. No wait for another person. Now you Biafra they wait for.